Good evening, everybody. The Music Fan is back, bringing smiles to the faces, knowledge to the people, and most importantly, music to the masses. And I am back with another Are You In? Tonight, we are taking a look at the newest Bruce Springsteen album entitled Western Stars. Bruce Springsteen is an American singer-songwriter from Long Branch, New Jersey. Previous albums include Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey in 1973, The Wild, the Innocent, and the East Streets Shuffle in 1973, Born to Run in 75, Darkness on the Edge of Town in 78, The River in 1980, Nebraska in 82, Born in the USA in 84, Tunnel of Love in 87, Human Touch in 92, Lucky Town in 92, The Ghost of Tom Joad in 95, The Rising in 2002, Devils and Dust in 05, We Shall Overcome, The Seeker Sessions in 06, Magic in 07, Working on a Dream in 09, Breaking Ball in 2012, and High Hopes in 2014. Now this is Bruce Springsteen's 19th album, and this is an artist that doesn't necessarily need that much introduction. He is someone who has been on the music scene for over almost 40 years now, and he has had some incredible hits. I can see why he is popular. In my opinion, though, there hasn't been a full album that has grasped me. I've listened to Wrecking Ball, I've listened to High Hopes, I've also listened to Human Touch and Tunnel of Love. I enjoy some of his stuff, but there's nothing that's made me be a Bruce Springsteen fan. And of course, the long debated argument of, are you a Bon Jovi fan or a Bruce Springsteen fan? Call me a Bon Jovi fan. I find a lot of his stuff more interesting. I find his voice a lot better. But I can understand why people like Bruce Springsteen. He is more of a folky, classic rock styled musician who has a lot of lyrics based upon the working class. I came into this particular album with not much expectations. High Hopes didn't really do much for me, neither did Wrecking Ball, even though Wrecking Ball was highly praised the year it dropped. However, coming out of this, as you probably have noticed in my video about my top 10 albums so far, this stuck with me. And it wasn't necessarily for the music. The music is great. The music is very reminiscent of old-time westerns, a lot of orchestration and country-style songs. But a lot of these arrangements do end up being very interesting and theatrical because of the instrumentation behind it. No, what I love about this album is the lyrics. The lyrics matched with the music behind it make for some very memorable songs. A lot of these songs do take their cues from the Western tradition, people roaming the lands, trying to make a life out on the West instead of having something more secure, something more stable. From there, it talks about both the highs of that and the consequences of those actions, as well as some nostalgic pining of for a better time. Some of my favorite songs on here are both Hitchhiking and Wayfarer, being songs about roaming from town to town and not necessarily settling down anywhere. Hitchhiking, I think, is pretty interesting in its lyrics. It has lyrics about like the conversations that are going on in all the different cars or trucks that he is hitchhiking in as he tries to go to the destination that is not necessarily known. Wayfarer is about the people that he meets and the connections that he makes, but nothing ever situating into something more substantial. Tucson Train, I think, is interesting because it's from the perspective of someone who is trying to make their life better and has come into Tucson for work and to better oneself, and hoping that the past love will come back and see that this guy has changed and want to be with him again. Western Stars and Drive Fast, the Stuntman, both have these lyrics about pining for a better time. Western Stars, I think, is really fascinating because it's talking about someone who used to be in Western films, even going so far as to say that he was once shot by John Wayne on set, and that particular scene in a movie has garnered him his fame, and now he's in a place where he doesn't get to have that love for films or Western anymore, It's now this person that is kind of down on their luck and is roaming bars from time to time, hoping to remember the night that he has had. Also, people recognizing him for the credit card commercials that he is now on, but hoping to recapture that once amazing feeling of being famous and being wanted. Drive Fast is about a stuntman who, for all of his time, tried to live fast and hard to never actually be normal. And it's looking back on the battle scars, the pins in his leg, all these things that remind him of the past. Chasing Wild Horses is kind of on that similar path of looking back on what you've done based on the work that you've been able to do to reach your dreams. And I think even Summer North of Nashville, even though it's a very short song, is a nice one about losing yourself in the country music industry and losing your friends and your family because you want to make it big in Nashville. Hello Sunshine is also interesting lyrics where it's talking about now looking on life in a positive light instead of a negative one, and hoping to be able to live out some more of that life now that you can understand your place in it and feel more complacent and more happy with the time you have left. And honestly, my favorite lyrics on here, Moonlight Motel, about a place that the narrator and the lover used to go that no longer is around. And as the years have gone by, where things become harder, where now it's about taxes and bills and kids, trying to remember these nights. And it's a beautiful ender. Even the ending lines of like now being at this boarded up place, and I brought a drink for all of us, but I poured one for myself, I poured one for you, and I poured one for the Moonlight Motel. There are some worse songs lyrically on the album. Stones, There Goes My Miracle, Sundown, all dealing with heartbreak and messing up and trying to be better. But overall, I love the character building in here, and I love the showmanship, the storytelling, pining for the good old days, which at his age, at 69, I can understand where he's coming from. The music is also very layered with orchestration, with horns, strings, and guitar, and it's very reminiscent of something that you would hear in a score for a Western, particularly like a classical Western. But I think that helps build the world that is around it. There isn't necessarily any particular stand-out arrangements. All of them are pretty solid. My favorite ones being The Wayfarer, Tucson Train, Western Stars, Sundown, Hello Sunshine, and Moonlight Motel. Hello Sunshine for me stands out because it has this kind of Western shuffle feel with a 2-beat bass line. It's a lot of fun to listen to. Moonlight Motel, very open and very somber, with mostly just picked guitar, which I really enjoy. Western Stars has some great orchestration, as well as Sundown. Really love the chord progression on Wayfarer, as well as the string parts on here. If you listen to the response of the strings when it comes in on the second verse, there's a lot of tense ideas that it ends on. I think it's really interesting. Tucson Train is just a lot of fun. There are some that are just kind of stagnant, and it leads for some of the weaker parts on the album, especially when the melody isn't that interesting or becomes repetitive. I like the lyrics of Hitchhiking, but it does get a little bit repetitive. Stones is very repetitive. And Sleepy Joe's Cafe feels a little bit out of place. It's an interesting arrangement. It feels a little bit like Tex-Mex in terms of a sound, but it just feels a little bit out of place for the rest of this album. Also, There Goes My Miracle is a little bit more modern in its approach in terms of the production. There's some electronic beats on there, which feels a little bit weird, but I do think that the chorus itself is one of the better ones on the album. Other than that, it's a very solid album. You're not necessarily coming here for a song or two. There are some great songs on here, but it is just for the storytelling and for the world that this creates. And because of that, I am going to say that this album deserves a full listen. It's not necessarily something that I would put on over and over again, though I am more inclined to put this album on more and more than some of the albums I've listened to this year. I think there's a lot of just really beautiful work on here, and one that deserved a listen. So yeah, hey Bruce, you finally hooked me onto one of your albums. It's taken you 40 years, but you finally hooked me onto one. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you like or hate this album and the reasons why. Let me know other albums you would like me to review from 2019. Share this with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel. If you enjoy what I do, the best way that you can help out is by subscribing so we can make this channel bigger and better. Wednesday, I will be back with another Are You In? Until then, this is Music Fan, and I'm signing off.